name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That's fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the Channelmom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
You are listening to the Channelmom Show, where we are celebrating you, Mom, and I'm celebrating the fact that I'm even here, having driven through a blizzard to get here. Not feeling sorry for myself, just saying. Our next guest, I'm kind of excited about her. She's a mother of 4 children, living the dream. And I mean it. I know lots of women who think it would be kind of neat, kind of quaint to live in a getaway in the woods of northern Minnesota on the shores of Lake Superior, writing romance novels. I mean, wouldn't most women like to do that? It's while eating bonbons. That is what Susan May Warren does. She is an author of numerous books, including Baby, It's Cold Outside, which I'm going to hold up for the camera here for our video audience, and Heiress. And I've read Baby, It's Cold Outside. It's a really wonderful book. She is also a mom and a rabid football fan of her son's teams in the midst of churning out novels. Welcome, Susan.
Hey, Jenny. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, welcome from northern Minnesota. I grew up in Minnesota, so I'm sure you're very, very cold.
Oh, yeah, it's chilly here, but I have to correct you. There are no bonbons in my life. I don't have time for bonbons.
Yes, I hear you. You've got some great stories about how you actually do write, which I think moms are going to want to hear. Let's just get to that. I think a lot of moms out there have a little dream, and whatever it is, but they have a dream in the back of their head, and they think, I just would like to pursue this. But they're also putting their kids first, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's good to put your kids first for a little while, and your husband and your kids. And if you're a single mom, just your kids. But you have managed to weave this dream into your life of child rearing, and you've done it in some amazing ways. You and I were chatting yesterday, and you explained to me that your laptop kind of accompanies you just about everywhere, maybe even to the bathroom.
Yeah, sadly, it probably does.
So tell me about that.
You know, being a mom is my primary calling. I love being a mom. And I'm a mom of 4 teenagers now. Actually, 2 of them are in college, so my life has gotten easier. But I did start writing when my kids were 2 years old. And I think that, God puts, you have those dreams in your heart, and you really want to start to, work on them, but there's a season for everything, right? So you have to focus on those things that are your priorities and then look for opportunities to just really work on those little dreams. And I think that those opportunities continue to open up as your kids get older and older. So for me, it was just, writing stories with my kids on my lap, really, and just trying to work in little snippets of time here or there. But then as the stories grew and as my time grew, I was able to devote more time to it. But I always kept the kids a part of the process. I would say, hey, guys, I'm going to finish a chapter, and then we'll go out for pizza or something. Or when I finished my first book, I told them, listen, when I sell this book, I'll take you all to Disney World. And that's what we did. So, just involving them in the process, helping them be a part of the joy. And then, of course, I did, I was a mom full-time, and so I would, take my laptop to the sport events. I was at a basketball game last night, had my laptop there, and, I told my kids, when you're in the game, I'm watching. If you're not and you're on the bench, I'm typing. So that's just the way it is, and that's just how it is when you're a working mom.
And I love that you say weave your kids into that, because for a number of things. First of all, they get rewarded for sacrificing a little bit for you, sacrificing some of their time with you. But second of all, it's a life lesson to learn about a family and how a family's all in, and you're all in this thing together.
Right.
And that you sacrifice together, but you also get rewarded together. My kids are all in with Channelmom. I mean, my son offered to come videotape the show today, and
cool.
And he didn't. I didn't let him because he's sick like me. I was just the great martyr, and I drove down through the blizzard. But anyway, I totally agree with that, and it's a neat thing to watch your kids sign on and then learn how to dream for themselves and build a dream for themselves.
We really fuel our kids' dreams, and when we just devote every single minute to them, I think they don't see us as a whole person. Right? They need to see that things are possible, and kids, I think, get real selfish too if we're just devoting all our time to them. And I say, we're all in this together. I do have a sign outside my door that says "Cry Me a River," and when I'm working and if there's something going on, I want to be there for them, but they need to learn how to solve some of their problems themselves too, and they need to respect my time. So I think that teaching children to respect your time and your dreams is a big part of helping them grow up and being less selfish, and so that they can say, other people matter too. But yes, it's that whole, we're all in this together, and kind of community that we have to create for our families.
Amen, girl. I mean, I'm a believer, as much as I love my children and probably overindulge them myself, we're in an overindulged children mentality. I mean, especially this time of year. Our kids are overindulged, and as a result, they're discontent and entitled and somewhat demanding. So we do need to get to that place where they're not feeling, like they deserve everything and that they deserve all your time and that you don't have any worth yourself. Right. Let's talk about Baby, It's Cold Outside. Read that book, and I've also read part of Eris. Both of them are wonderful. I think moms would really enjoy them.
Thanks.
In your books, you like to present kind of the deeper issues. And especially as I was reading through Baby, It's Cold Outside, I thought, man, she is unwrapping all of these people's personalities and basically waking us up to the fact that everybody has got a problem deep down. Everybody's got baggage. Everybody's dealing with something. And you do that with these characters. And let's just let you answer two questions. You do that. And then you also kind of like to expose the lies that we all believe. So run with that and talk to me about it.
Yeah, when I write a story isn't just a great plot or fun characters. It's really a journey of a character going through, unlocking something in their past or their lives or some question they have about life, and then journeying through it. And as we all know, there are no perfect people, so why should there be a perfect person in a book? They enter the story with issues, and then the story is about them uncovering those issues. And I believe that we all sort of have lies from our past that we are walking around with, and we spend our life kind of unlocking those lies and learning to live in truth. And so I just try to take a snippet of that from my character as they're in this journey, and I try to say, okay, what is the story here? What is the lie that my character's believing? What is the issue that they're dealing with? And what is the truth that they're going to find? And I may not have all the answers. I don't think I do. I just try to unravel some of the big questions and offer ideas that, that might set people free. And some of the things about the stories are, issues about secrets that we hold, or things that have happened to us in our past, and we can maybe look at them a little bit differently through the eyes of a character. Yeah. And then as we do that, it kind of affects our own life. So I hope to affect people's lives, or, and to obviously to write a great story. That's my first goal, is to just write a great story. But, underneath there's a theme, and there's a question, and hopefully people can see that theme in their own lives and maybe bring away something that helps them in their own personal life.
Absolutely. And in Baby, It's Cold Outside and Eris, they both have romance going on, which is fun. It's fun to follow. Yeah. But it was all, and Baby, It's Cold Outside, I enjoyed because I grew up in Minnesota, and just about everything you describe about how darn cold it is there resonated with me. Yeah. But what I just loved is I thought, gosh, she's touching on what this character thinks and then how that character behaves because of the way they're thinking. Right. And I think so many of us women, we confront each other, we run into each other, and we think, what's her problem? But really, it's this underlying lie and baggage that we're dealing with that makes us behave that way.
Absolutely. We have these deep-seated things that happen to us in our youth or our teenage years or our college years or whatever, and then they form our personalities, and we have a perspective based on what I consider as a lie or some piece of it, and we really need to just back away from it and go, wait a second, why am I acting this way? Why am I believing this thing that's not true? And even in my parenting, I will ask my children, what do you believe about yourself that is making you make this decision, that is making you do these things? And especially with teenagers, as they're growing up, I'm saying, you're agreeing to do this thing or date this boy or have this behavior, and why are you doing that? Because what do you believe that's making you do that? So, unlocking that and really starting to live in freedom and say, that's not right. That was a wrong perspective, and I don't have to act this way or believe that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really empowering thing, and I think we're constantly dealing with it. All of us have tons and tons of baggage like that. So dealing with that one at a time, Yeah,
absolutely. And what I wish people could almost do when they see somebody who's being rude or one of their family members has done something to them, if they could almost see that person like somebody walking through an airport with so many bags on them that they can't even walk. And you know what I mean? And it's prohibiting them from being all they could be. And just to have compassion for that. And I think women in particular really deal with those lies that create insecurities in them.
We walk around with so many lies in our head, and it's worse for women because we don't have just the lies from our past, but we listen to our mothers and our friends, and we have a great memory, and so we'll remember things that happened in 7th grade, and then we're still dealing with that, and it's just crazy. And then we have the television that tells us how we should think and believe, and that's full of lies too. So I just think that we struggle even more than men do with that. So.
Yeah, I think men can shut it out a little bit more than we can. I want to get to The Shadow of Your Smile. It's your book that's going to be released in January, and I believe it's basically just made for moms. I mean, a man could sure read it, but it sounds like it's kind of made for moms. And
it is.
And it tugs at my heartstrings, I should say, because it's about you and your daughter's relationship in a very vague way. You certainly don't put yourselves in the book. But
right.
Tell us about The Shadow of Your Smile and why it's going to resonate with mothers.
Well, it's a story that I wrote during my daughter's senior year of high school, and I was kind of struggling with her going away to college, and so I wrote a book about a woman who falls and hits her head and loses her memory of the last 25 years. And when she wakes up, she's 21 years old, and she's forgotten her children, her husband, and everything about her life. She's also forgotten the death of her child, her daughter, at the age of 18. And so the big question is, and she, of course, could not recover from that. It was so devastating to her. It's just destroyed her life. And so now, do they help her get her memory back and, and knowing that she's going to remember this terrible, terrible event, but then also knowing that she'll remember the happy things, or do they start over again and erase everything, including the happy things? So it's that question about, are the bad things worth remembering if you also then remember the good things, and it's putting all of that into balance and figuring out how do we survive through grief and loss, and how do we get past that, and how can we look at our lives in a big picture kind of way and kind of weigh out all of the things. We often dwell, especially this season, on all of the painful things in our lives.
Yes.
But our lives are a huge tapestry, and most of those things are good. And so how do we figure out how to pull out those good things and remember those and let the bad things diminish?
Absolutely.
So that was really a story about letting go. I was a mess the whole book. I was crying. My daughter's like, "Mom, I haven't left yet." I'm like, "I don't care. It feels like you're gone." So it was. And she's like, "I actually didn't die. You didn't have to kill me." I'm like, "It wasn't you, but it feels that way." So.
Yeah, sure. And it does feel like a death to a mom. I'll warn you, we've got about a minute and a half left, but it does feel like a death to a mom. Yeah. And it's probably cathartic for you, because you said you were able finally to rejoice when your daughter left for college. You told me that.
Yeah.
And it was probably because you worked through it with this book, I would think.
That's so much what it is for an author, too, is that we look at life and we see issues, and then we write about them, and we find our own truths and our own healing as we write these stories, So, like, Baby, It's Cold Outside is really a story about secrets, but it's also a mom story, too. It's about letting go and knowing that you've made an impact on your children, even if you can't see it. Yeah. So it's you have to, as an author, you totally are working through issues, and you hope that other people benefit and are blessed by your stories, but, in the end, I really love writing them, so that's always a great thing for me.
It is, and I can think of one or two of my friends right now that could use that big book in particular, because they have daughters they're going to say goodbye to going off to college or just did. Yeah. Briefly, why don't you tell us your contact, your website, and let me just mention that you are a woman who really feels like God has guided you through all this, so I know He's been a big help to you through all this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a woman of faith, and so I've been very grateful for the what I call the divine intervention in my life.
Absolutely. We need it when we're trying to live our dream. So tell us how moms can find out more about your books.
Oh, sure. All of these books are found at SusanMayWarren.com, and you can read the excerpts and figure out where to buy them, and they should be, Baby, It's Cold Outside is for sale right now at Barnes & Noble and Amazon and all the major bookstores. You can check that out. So is Eris, and Shadow of Your Smile comes out in January, and it will be at all the major bookstores as well. So.
Fabulous. We'll have to have you back sometime, Susan. Have a wonderful weekend, my dear.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Coming up, if you like Christmas music, this popular musician has just released a new CD. He recently received a Grammy nomination for Best Gospel Song. But here's the really cool thing. This musician has a huge heart for moms. And we're going to tell you all about it after the break.